So far, we are familiar with creating a pipeline, how we can define the jobs, and how we can define the different stages, and also how we can take advantage of the artifacts. And now, one of the most important parts of the DevOps is continuous integration. And continuous integration means that we have to check against all the changes that are pushed to our repository. For instance, if there is a project, there is a repository, and multiple developers are working on this project, every changes that developers are pushing to the repository should be checked on with the pipeline and with the automation. So we can use the pipeline and we can create some commands, some scripts for testing the changes that the developers are sending to our repository. In this case, we can check if the changes that are pushed to the repository are integrated with our application or not. We mean by the integration is that are the tests successful for the changes that they have sent to the repository. So in this case, we can keep the process very easy and straightforward, and we make sure that by using the automation scripts that every changes that developers are sending can be integrated in our project. So this is a quick overview of continuous integration. Can the changes be integrated or merged in our project or not? To do so, we need to do some changes in our repository. We head over to setting merge request. A merge request is the same as pull request on GitHub and Bitbucket. So the name is different in GitLab, but keep in mind that merge request is the same as pull request. So the developers, instead of pushing the changes straight to the repository and sending it to main branch, instead they have to create the merge request to send their changes. The first change is that is recommended to use fast forward merge for merge method is have a lot of advantages. We keep the other merge options as is, and also for squashing commits we check and use the encourage, because we can when a request a pull request or merge request will be submitted, if we decide to merge it, we can merge all the commits in a single commit, and we can keep the changes in our main repository very clean, and also the reverting the changes is much simpler in this case. It's really important that there are some checks that should be passed before that we can merge the request. The first one is pipeline must exist must succeed, because we will implement some tests on our pipeline, and each of the merge requests that are submitted to our repository, the pipeline will invoke the pipeline, and pipeline do the heavy lift and do the some tests, and if the tests succeed, and then we can merge the changes. And obviously there is another step that the reviewer must approve the changes as well. And also the reviewer and other members can start a thread or review or discussion on the merge request, and we can check if all the threads and discussion on the merge request were resolved. In this case, the reviewer is allowed to proceed and merge the request as well. So we can check this part as well, and is all set. Now we have to switch to setting repository, and we need to check the protected branches. By default, the maintainers of the repository can push the changes directly to the main branch. What we need to do here is set the people that can allow to push the changes to the repository to none. So no one can directly push the changes to the repository. So in this case, we force everyone to submit a pull request instead of pushing changes directly to our repository. So that's it. And let's switch back to our project. Let's open our project, which is consists of two files in a web IDE, and we need to do some changes in our project. For instance, let's say remove this part and commit the change, and we expect that we are not allowed to do the commitment because we cannot and we are not allowed to do direct commit on the main branch. And the IDE hopefully suggested us to create a new branch. I click the new branch, and in the pop-up window I can name the branch. I can name it feature, and also name the branch something my new branch, and submit the changes. Let's go to the project, and as soon as we visit the project, there is most cases there is a message here that we can create a merge request. I create a merge request and I call it new changes in build script, and I can do some description here or attach images, links here, or also I can add a list of checkbox that, for instance, a line of a script removed, all tested, for instance, and scroll down and create a merge request. Okay, the merge request is created. As soon as I created the merge request, the pipeline will be generated. And as far as I click, there are 3 jobs and 2 stages. These are the stages, and these are the jobs in the stages. I can click on each of the jobs and check the information. And as far as the pipeline is successful, I can merge the request, and I can, after merging the request, the branch that I created will be removed. The commits will be squashed in a single commit. And also, if I wanted to review the changes, I can see where the changes are added. I can add a comment or review here if I have any opinion or there is any problem here. I can leave a comment here, and the developers can check and leave a comment again. So I skip this part. I can head over to overview and click on the merge, and the changes will be merged on the main branch. And if I switch to the main branch, I can see that the pipeline is invoked again because there is a new changes in the repository. And if I open the file, I can see that the part of the code that was listing the files is removed successfully. And this is the part of the process that we are taking advantage of the pipeline for implementing CI practices and improving our workflow for detecting the problems when we are sending the changes to our code, and we can check the changes and continuously improve and integrate the changes in our project. In the next video, we are going to talk about how we can add a new runner to our GitLab instance.